some session today. We just went over we're in like post-production now at this point. Pretty much all of our recordings finished. Working on your EP, The Enabler.
Except for the harmonica solo by Gnostic. Shout out to Gnostic.
Shout out to Gnostic if you're listening, which I cannot wait for. That's going to be so sick. His new album is full of it.
What doesn't he play?
I don't know.
I remember going camping with that guy one time, and he busts out a pan flute randomly and starts beatboxing into the pan flute around the campfire. Holy shit.
No, he's a unique character. The beatbox, and then when he does the beatbox harmonica combo, that's when people just lose their shit.
Yeah.
For people who don't know who we're talking about, it's a good friend of ours who's in a group called Diagnose, shout out. And they just finished an album, and it's world hip-hop, electronic, fusion kind of things, but mixed with lots of live instruments. And Tenzin and I were finishing one of his records today, and he's like, you know, I think you were going for a saxophone sound, but I said, I don't play sax anymore, but what about harmonica? We'll get Gnostic on that. And so
exactly.
I think that's the next plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we've got 3 really hot songs, just fire. Like, we started off talking about wanting to do an EP. We were going to do a whole project, and we're talking like is this more than one summer ago? I want to say, like, we've been at this for quite a bit.
Well, we've been like gradually chipping away. I don't think it's pretty high on either of our priority lists in terms of like shit we need to get done, but that's fine because we just kind of have been continually coming back to it gradually, and it keeps it fun for me anyways, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were going to do a full EP, which we're still sort of doing, but rather than releasing it as an EP, I've sort of been toying with the idea of doing 2 separate batches of 3 songs just because people's attention spans are so terrible.
Yeah.
It might be more successful that way. And a lot of artists are now doing that. Like John Mayer's now kind of doing that. Florida Georgia Line released like a 4-song EP.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think it's kind of catching on. Because people just sort of, are busy, and so they want something that they can kind of digest, I think, fairly quickly, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of putting an album out isn't dead.
I love the album experience, personally, for sure, but I mean, it might be a thing of the past. Because people don't generally listen to an album back to back anymore. Like, it's usually shuffle.
Yeah, and now with Spotify, Apple Music, and everyone, they're creating custom playlists for you, like the French themed dinner playlist and the let's burn some calories playlist, and the, fill in the blank. To mix it up a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, my favorite album from 2018 was Post Malone, Beer Bongs and Bentleys. That's 17 songs, and every song is dope. It's not like back in the days, pop bands would put the whole album would ride on 2 singles. Yeah, like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Things like that. But this was 17, like Baby Hit Me One More Times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was, I really enjoyed that, so.
Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. And that his success kind of speaks for itself. Dave Matthews Band? Mm-hmm. That was my favorite album of 2018. It's called Come Tomorrow. Have you heard it?
I'm sorry, of course I know them. I didn't realize they had a new project out.
Oh, dude, it's so awesome. It's 14 songs, but yeah, every song. Usually what I do is I'll download an album and then I'll listen to it and I'll remove the songs I don't like, right?
Yeah.
So I don't hear them again, but that was one of those albums where every single song stayed on my list.
That's crazy.
So.
Incredible. Yeah. When I was at school, one of our instructors was their engineer, the Dave Matthews Band.
No way.
Yeah, Warren. Shout out Warren Livesey.
Holy shit.
This man is a living legend. I don't know if he's still in Vancouver, but if he is, so that was cool. He,
Must be pretty tough too, because that's like a 12-piece band.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of instruments in that band.
Yeah. We're talking over a vast spectrum of frequencies, and not just like drums and whatnot, but they've got horns and things, don't they? Like they've got the whole mix.
They have
like
brass. I think they have a trombone, a sax. I think they even have a tuba. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Speaking of Gnostic, he's also in one of those big bands, 17-piece.
Oh yeah, the Leg Up.
Leg Up program in Victoria.
Oh man, and they sound great, but I mean, the amount of work it would probably take those guys to, like, herding cats to just practice, like that must be frustrating.
Every time he brings it up, my first question is like, how much of a headache are band practices?
Yeah.
Like it's hard enough probably to get, 4 guys with ripped jeans to show up.
It is
on time, but 17 motherfuckers, like, holy. I guess for the actual process of recording the album, it can, they don't have to all be there jamming at once. It's probably more of someone comes in on one day, does the bass, we got background vocals on another day.
Well, for recording, right? But rehearsing for live shows, I think you do have to all be in the same room.
Yeah. No, I saw them live, and they took up the whole stage. Like,
It's so funny too. Like on a smaller stage, like Lucky, that it's only like 20 feet wide, and then they kind of like have to stagger behind each other.
Yeah. No, they're like in formation, like.
Yeah. But yeah, like, and I know what you mean. Like I do enjoy listening to albums front to back, but generally I'm just listening to playlists now. Like, your music is on my workout playlist.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
dope.
Yeah. I find your songs, like, obviously it's hip hop, so it's very easy, like, rhythmically to, like, lift weights to.
Yeah, with that heavy kick drum and a snare. Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need.
Exactly.
That's what 90s boom bap shit is just kick, snare, hi-hat, and then a little sample blended into the background. But I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. We were hearing, like pop and rock records on television commercials and in between. I think it was one of the NFL playoff games we were watching. Anyhow, we were saying, like, doesn't everything sound like hip hop nowadays? Back in the day, a band wouldn't have had that much like bass and low end in their drums, for example. I think it was a Maroon 5 record, and I was like, you could rap over that. Like, that's a beat. Everything's moving more towards beats nowadays than your, I don't know, fill in a band from the 90s or the 2000s, where it's like Oasis or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of evolved with the technology too, though. Like, the old 2-track recording systems, I don't think they had those capabilities for those lower tones like they do now. Like, if you listen to like old whatever, Beatles, Zeppelin, whatever, it's just not there, right? Still great music, but it's definitely missing that lower registry.
Yeah, non-existent. That's why they had to get creative and pan the whole drum kit to the left and do crazy
I heard about that.
Like
Did you see the halftime show?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I watched the Super Bowl live. Yeah.
Did you like it? I didn't see it, so I'm just asking out of curiosity.
I enjoyed the Maroon 5 portion. I enjoyed when Big Boy came out in a Cadillac in a giant fur coat, like he drove his Cadillac on the field and then came up to the stage. It was cool. It was theatrical, but them just like sandwiching Travis Scott in between, kind of as an afterthought. It was like Big Boy was the cheese, Maroon 5 was the meat, and then Travis Scott was like, let's put some mustard on this. Like, he wasn't.
Oh, weird.
He had a 30-second set. I think he did like one verse and then he was gone.
I don't generally like that format because, like, I don't like it when the artists, like, they have to, right? Because they're trying to go through all their hits, but it's nice when you can kind of listen to full songs and not just like 30 seconds before it turns into another song.
Yeah. Oh, and that's exactly how the Maroon 5 set went. I think it was 7-8 minutes and they did, 10 songs in 7-8 minutes.
Yeah. Quote unquote songs.
Yeah. Just give everybody a little taste.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
They were not, I don't think, the NFL's first choice. Like, they they tried to get Rihanna and then Cardi B, and then all of these big names were kind of passing because of this solidarity with Colin Kaepernick thing, and then Maroon 5 was kind of the only one that would, I think, accept the gig that was still like a big name.
Yeah, it turned into a whole political thing. I don't know. It's so strange. You'd think like that would be the highest honor for any act to be like, oh, I'm going to perform at the Super Bowl. You'd think people would be have their hands raised for years to be on a wait list for that shit, and now people are turning it down. So, yeah, I remember reading about it a little bit in the papers and whatnot, but in the end, I think it was a good overall show.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, smoke just makes me feel bad for the players that have to come on the field after this.
Yeah.
Like with all the fireworks and the place is still, it looks like, a Jamaican birthday party and there's just like all the smoke. But the second half.
You can't see the ball.
You can't see the fucking ball coming at you. Oh man. But yeah, the Americans know how to put on a show, man, better than anyone in the world. They really do.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I've been rapping a little bit in Calgary with these guys, two guys. And one of them is a very gifted lyricist, but he's got the memory of a goldfish. So if he's not like reading the lyrics off of his phone, he's completely lost. And the other guy is really handsome and is just permanently wearing a tracksuit. So we just kind of have him standing in the background, nodding along.
Yeah. I didn't know you were doing that. So where's the spot at in Calgary? Is this a studio that you're working at or a friend's place?
We're just getting together and writing right now. We haven't really recorded, but do you want to hear a sample?
Yeah, put it on. Yeah, hold it up to the mic. Let's let everyone hear.
Well, I'll just pull up a Kendrick beat since I don't actually have any recorded material, but it's probably the most vile and misogynistic thing to ever come out of my imagination, but
Okay.
Yeah. This one's called For the Boys.
Okay.
Or FTB.
Okay. Dope.
Damn, Missy Mari got
She calls me hun. Must know I slay bitches like Attila. Tricks on my dick, Bangkok to Manila. But it's only FTB, we live vicariously. If I concentrate when we fuck, then the boy's gonna feel ya. If I kill ya, it's only so the irony is not lost. Cold bitch, now she's buried in the permafrost. Another one a while back gave me an STD, but what she got back from me was HIV. FTB, another trick thought she was too hot for me, so I started a fire inside of that bitch's house. FTB, another thought she could walk all over me. Now she mummified in concrete out on my street. R.I.P. It's all about just a few libations. Miles Davis, fine Asians, and some minor violations that send us all to jail for the lives we destroyed. But the felonies is always a distraction for the boys.
Unreal.
And now this podcast is completely unusable.
I know. I always knew you had bars, but that's cool, man. That's really dope. How long does it take you to write something like that, or is that mostly like?
Not very long. I've always been good at rhyming.
Yeah.
I just don't really have anything important to say, and that's just the truth. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
There are poets, like really gifted songwriters that can like invoke certain imagery and just like a way with words. But I just have a strong sense of like cadence and rhyming. That's about it. So.
Yeah, I remember house parties in Victoria, and we weren't friends back in the day, but I knew who you were, and I remember this one time because you grew up with you were a year, when I was in grade 12, you were in grade 11, I think. So you had a group of friends that I knew, but we didn't hang out together. And I remember you came to the house party one time, and I was freestyling with some friends, and I knew you like played guitar and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, Tenzin's an artist. Has seen you with the acoustic, but then you came up on the scene and started dropping bars, and I couldn't believe it.
Well, you and I actually, I don't know if you remember this, but you and I actually played a show at an assembly at a talent show.
Yeah.
Together.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was you, me, and then 3 other people. You were actually playing the saxophone.
Yep.
And rapping.
Yeah.
And then I was rapping.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Dylan Hoyne, I think,
Dylan Hoyne
on bass, and then Austin Love on the drum kit. Oh man!
Shout out to Austin, wherever you are, Ireland, I think.
That was, wow, yeah, that was fun. That was a cover of "Don't Sweat the Technique."
Yes,
by Rakim and Eric B. Good Lord. And I remember at the last minute, like the day before, I had to change how I did my sax part because there's this at the end of the hook, the last note goes up by a whole octave, and I just I couldn't get it in And
no, because then what you did was
yeah, exactly. I can't believe you remember that shit. I can't believe it, but it worked out. Like it's about the rhythm at the end of the day. Yeah, and had the sax hanging from my neck, and then I'd be rapping and then go into the hook and just like do the sax bit, let it hang, and then do my other verse.
Yeah, that's the great thing about like instruments that are strapped, because you can do the same thing with a guitar, like do the solo, then just whip it around back and just hold a mic.
Oh my God.
Nothing cooler.
Yeah, like those frontmen in bands that do that, you know. The guys that play the guitar and are the lead singer. You know. I don't know too much about rock. Is it more common to be like what's the guy, Bono, where he's just him and his sunglasses and a mic, or is it more common to be, you know, your boy from Maroon 5, for example, where you've got the guitar and the vocal?
You know what? I think actually most frontmen are kind of virtuosos at a lot of different instruments, and you don't even really recognize it.
Right.
Like, I don't personally like Justin Bieber's music, but he can play almost everything, like something like 12 different instruments.
Oh, crazy. Same
thing with Justin Timberlake, Chris Martin from Coldplay, Ryan Tedder from One Republic. All of these guys can play multiple instruments, and then like once in a while they just do, right? So couple songs, like show that I went to recently, couple songs just singing, couple songs with the piano, couple songs on the guitar, right? They sort of just mix it up.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought Bono did play the guitar, but I've never seen them live.
I don't know. Every time I see him, he's just double fisting the mic, you know. So I just assumed that he didn't play. Anyhow, so you've got one more night in town.
One more night in town. Yeah. I'm living in Calgary now. It's pretty cold this time of year, but otherwise don't really have too many complaints.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to just kind of visit as much as I can, come back, keep in touch with friends and family without, you know, breaking the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, one couple hours on the airplane and then bus into town.
Yeah.
Hit up the bars, hit up the
exactly.
all the microbreweries
and
we have here.
Oh man, dude, the day that WestJet doesn't royally fuck me over is the day I will believe in God. Like I'll go to church the following Sunday that I make a flight on time. Oh my God. So like I had tickets to Justin Timberlake for November. And unfortunately they had to cancel that show because he had torn his vocal cords or something. So he rescheduled his whole Western Canadian tour to this weekend. So I was like, okay, sweet. Like I'll just come back this weekend, see my girlfriend, see my friends. But I was like, all right, I'll take an earlier shift at work. So I took, I got off at like 3:30 and like there was like a narrow window that I had to make this concert, and you get an hour flying back. So it's like, okay, leave at 5:30. It says I'm supposed to land at 6:03 p.m. And then that gives me ample time to get to the show because it, starts at 9. So I'm at the airport, right? Like I've timed my commute perfectly. Like I have all my ducks in a row. And then I get there and there's no pilot. Like there's just no pilot. I'm assuming like another flight got delayed, but like,
oh my God,
it ended up being like an hour and 45 minutes behind. And like, I can't remember the last time I was just this like furious at a situation because I didn't think I would like make it. Like I actually only made the concert by about 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like I got there and then 15 minutes later, like he was on. So I just remember like sitting in my seat in the airplane, just like shaking with silent rage. These people beside me, I could just tell, were so weirded out by me, like probably thought I have serious problems.
Oh my God.
But like, oh man.
You'd think they would have had a backup pilot.
Yeah.
Like when there's that much money at risk and there's that many, hundreds of people on the flight, like, Tom Brady doesn't just show up without a backup quarterback when there's that much at stake. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I hear a lot of weird things about WestJet. It got swept up in the whole Me Too movement too. Like,
oh yeah,
quite a few flight attendants like speaking out, so they had a bit of a PR nightmare there. And then recently, there's a story in the news where it's really weird. There was a guy flying from Toronto to London who had been he was like a reformed alcoholic, and he'd been sober for 2 years, but he'd been really drunk that day.
Oh, I heard this story. Yeah, but go on. Yeah.
So I don't know what he actually did on the airplane, but he was belligerent enough where they thought that he was like endangering people's safety.
Yeah.
So they turned the plane around and they're flying over Quebec and landed back in Toronto. Which is, I kind of understand, but at the same time, it's like, you don't have any like policy or anyone on board who can just kind of like subdue this person. Right. Like, did that seem the most practical solution to the problem at hand, to literally turn the plane around?
Yeah, for some guy that's being a drunk idiot. Like,
exactly.
Like you can't have weapons on the plane, so it's just some dummy with his waving his arms around, who knows what. But I couldn't agree more. Like, is it really worth, they had to apparently dump a whole bunch of fuel and waste a bunch of money, and now the guy's being sued by the airline for like
and just knock him out.
Yeah. just have like a person on every flight that's a black belt in some martial art.
That would actually be really, I think that would be cost effective too, because they lost thousands and thousands and thousands that they're trying to recoup from this guy. Yeah. And if you just have like a sort of an informal air marshal who's not carrying anything, but just highly trained in like jujitsu or something,
honestly, man, problem
solved.
They have loss prevention officers in retail. Why can't they have a drunk prevention guy on an airplane, right?
Yeah.
But hey, people get paid way more than us to, figure this shit out.
It's true. What do we know?
What do we know? It's easy for us to say. So that poor bastard.
It's funny how this was just followed by 2 years of sobriety. First day he starts drinking again. Like, whoopsie daisy, he should have stayed on the wagon.
You can't script this shit. Yeah. Oh my God. I feel bad for the man.
Yeah.
We're going to have some new music for people. I mean, what are we looking at timeline wise? We're getting close to mastering your EP. We're going to switch gears and go back and talk about that for a minute. We've got 3 songs that are, one needs harmonica, one needs, I got to replace those guitars that we redid. Mm-hmm. And then one of them's, I got to fix a snare, I think, on Premonitions. I think that was one of your notes for the mix. But the point is, we're getting really close. I'm getting excited about finishing these.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we need Rooster's vocals on 2 more songs, but I will get in touch with him. Because it's mainly on him when he can come to Vancouver, but he gets free ferries over, so I don't feel too.
Is that a nickname for Josh?
Rooster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really funny. It's his spirit animal.
Yeah.
And whenever he's fucking up, I always say, Josh, cock-a-doodle don't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just oh man, this goes pretty deep, this analogy, but yeah, man, love that guy. He's just one of these people that I've met in my life where like it was just musical love at first sight. And he's funny though, like his rhythmic instincts are terrible, but his pitch instincts are perfect. Yeah. So he really has to make an effort to stay on time when he's singing.
Right.
But in terms of where he is, like harmonizing, he's not even thinking about it. He is always able to like be a third above, like a third note above where you are singing, which is like the first harmonic, and then like a fifth.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, dude.
No, we had a good time. I could tell he genuinely loves that shit. Like, and he kept coming up with ideas and, improvising on the spot. You had given him some sort of direction, but yeah, it seemed like he was really in his element. The time he came over and did the background vocals for what's what we're talking about for a couple of those records, and yeah, just nailed it. They turned out really good. Of course, I auto-tuned it a little bit, not like R&B auto-tune,
Totally.
but pitch correction.
Yes,
that's that's how I should rephrase it. And it's blended so far in the background of the mix, you don't notice it. They're just meant to be there as like a sound or like a texture to kind of fill in the space, right? It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going, and especially for the genre that we're working with, I'm not gonna like heavily auto-tune a vocal like that.
Right. No, you guys did great work with that.
It turned out really good. What would you call the genre that you're making? If someone asked you,
gun to my head, I'd probably say alternative rock.
Alternative rock, yeah.
But I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to work with you is because, like, I come sort of from a place where I have a clear idea of what I want all the parts to sound like other than the drums and the production, whereas that's sort of your wheelhouse being from hip hop, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, and that's kind of like what we've done. Like, you've kind of walked me through the rhythm and like just making sure like it all kind of fits, whereas I have a pretty clear understanding of the individual, bass, rhythm, lead, guitar, and vocals, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and how to work it all together. I mean, you have to have music theory knowledge to put that all together, right? Like, just to play a bass line you can't accidentally play a bass line. You have to know what notes are working and then build the rest of the song on that. And you're in here doing the bass, the acoustic, the electric, and the vocal. And then,
and then some synth,
and then some synth as well. So, is that something that you taught yourself, or did you ever take music lessons when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did. So my mom's a music therapist, actually. So
no shit.
Yeah, she works
idea.
with elderly and special needs kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's really cool. She's so passionate about her work, and I'm really proud of her. Like, she does this thing with the seniors' homes where she has this bell choir.
Okay.
So if you think of like a 12-note scale, including all the sharps, she hands them out to 12 members of this seniors community in like a half circle, and she is the conductor. So when you get pointed at, you play your bell, and then they do Christmas carols and stuff. And it's great because it's not difficult to the point where people can't do it. Like, anyone, no matter how senile they are, can play the bell.
Yeah.
But it's still enough to give them a sense of community, like they're part of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, yeah, so she started me on the violin when I was 5, and that didn't take at all. And then we tried piano.
Yeah.
And that didn't take either. Like, I stuck with it a little bit longer, but I really hated going to piano lessons and practicing.
Me too.
Fuck that,
yeah,
dude.
me too.
But then I found the guitar, and everything changed. Like, practicing didn't seem like work anymore,
That's when you've had the magical moment in music where it's not a chore. It's not go rake the leaves, go do play your scales. It's
exactly.
I'm doing this by choice in my bedroom, wherever you are.
Exactly.
That's really cool that you found that, right?
Definitely. But no, after that, I've mainly taught myself by ear. I can't read music or anything like that. I know what different notes look like and stuff from piano theory, but no, it was just kind of a matter of once you have the basic chords and stuff and know the terminology and some of the different scales, just listening to songs you like and figuring out where the notes are.
Yeah.
That's
well, so a lot of imitation, right?
Imitation.
And repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you develop an ear for it eventually. And, but that is, after as long as I've been doing this, I'm convinced that is not a talent. Like being able to hear pitch is what I'm trying to say. Some people can take vocal lessons for years and the instructor is going to keep saying, you're making progress, you're sounding great.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, can I sing for you? And you just, I remember a friend of mine in high school, bless her, but I won't name any names. But she, taking vocal lessons, and it's just like, you don't have it. You're born, like Jimi Hendrix was born. He was, he was made that way. Or people like Stevie Wonder, where you're just like unbelievably gifted at melodies and tone and pitch and things like that, and you just have it. And some people can work years on it and not really develop it.
Well, I think you need a combination of what you're talking about and just an unbelievable work ethic, because like Stevie Wonder, like these guys were, I think most musicians kind of like growing up, going to high school and everything, weren't the most like social people. They were just like in their rooms.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Grinding it out day after day after day. And a lot of times I don't think people realize, like, artists in general, like, they're not normal. Like, they're not, they're weird in good ways and bad. Like, they're not normal, well-adjusted people in a lot of circumstances. So, like, so whenever you hear, like, scandals with, the music industry or people in Hollywood, it's just like, that's really sad to hear, but can I really be all that surprised? Like, this is what, you were crazy enough to take this leap. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To try and pursue this as a career.
Sure.
Like, you're batshit. So like.
Yeah. No, or part of what makes you so brilliant at what you do, there's got to be other screws loose. I saw this incredible documentary about Nikola Tesla, not Elon Tesla, but on Netflix for anyone that's interested in about how he was like, one of the great geniuses of all time.
Right.
But as a person, as a member of society, was just like, he like just came off a spaceship, just so abnormal and had all these OCDs and weird things and couldn't kind of, keep relationships and severe depression and just very unstable, really. But then when he sat and did his calculations and his inventions, you're like, good Lord.
Right.
And I think, a lot of people that are very, very excel at one thing,
comes at a cost.
It's like the universe only gives you so many points.
Yeah.
You got
totally.
10 on this, but then you've got to take a hit on these other, like in video games, if you're building in an RPG, you're building a character, you get 10 strength, but then your magic is going to be low.
Right. Yeah. And you can point to so many examples like that. And it almost seems like the level of genius is like in many cases correlated to just that just weird brand of behavior. Like Alfred Hitchcock, for example, probably the greatest director who ever lived.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe other than Martin Scorsese, but like he would demand that all his lead actresses make themselves sexually available to him, and the ones who didn't, he would just make their lives a living hell.
Oh my goodness.
Like, apparently working for this person was just an absolute nightmare. Have you seen The Birds?
Yeah, I own it. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a scene where the lead actress, I forget her name, but the lead actress and the actor are locked in a room with a bunch of seagulls. How this movie was shot is, he didn't tell the actors that they couldn't leave this room. He locked them in there.
Oh my God.
And then he started blaring foghorns to make the birds go fucking nuts.
Holy shit.
So if you watch that scene again, that's not acting. That's like,
there's these people are genuinely terrified and confused. Wow.
And like, I think another good example is Robin Williams, like just such a funny fucking guy, like just able to light up whatever room he's in. But then that amount of energy and charisma when you're alone, it's just so like uncomfortable to be with yourself and your thoughts. You know?
No, I hadn't thought about it that way before, but for sure, someone exactly who's very, very high in this category, and then unfortunately ended up taking his own life in the end. Yeah, there's a method to these people's madness, though. That Alfred Hitchcock story is hilarious, you know, and I'm sure a lot of other really successful people in what's the word? Pioneers I'm looking for, because he was a pioneer, really. It was trying things that were unconventional or that hadn't been done before. It makes me think of obviously you've seen The Shining, where I was reading about that, where you know the wife in The Shining, what's her name? Not important right now.
Shelley Duvall,
Shelley,
the actress.
Shelley.
Mrs. Torrance.
So apparently, I mean, when shit gets real in that movie, she gets she's horrified, right?
Yeah.
And apparently, Kubrick had everyone on staff, including like the caterers and everyone, just fuck with her for days and days and just treat her like shit, so that she was like literally broken.
Yeah.
And so when you see her on camera, and then, you know, Jack's limping around the hotel with a baseball bat and whatnot, like a lot of that's not really acting. You're seeing like a very distraught person.
Yeah.
But the director like staged that off camera so that it would have more of an impact. And
I heard that, but not in that detail, but yeah, that's another really good example. Same kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. That would not fly today, obviously. But yeah, a lot of this art that we love probably has some pretty disturbing facts behind it. But
where you'd make a whole documentary just about it.
But Kubrick was a genius, and so was Alfred Hitchcock. I remember we watched Psycho in our film studies class in high school, and cool. It was broken. This scene was broken down where you've seen this Psycho, right?
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't?
I'm ashamed
really?
to say I have not seen Psycho.
Oh, well, you're not going to understand the reference then. But
I mean, I've seen it's been on TV where I've flipped through it, but I've never sat down and watched that. No, it's on my list.
Well, I'm going to spoil it for you.
Yeah, go for it. It's 40 years plus. We're allowed spoilers. Okay.
Yeah, every human being on the planet except for you has seen it, so you're the only one who's been spoiled for.
Let's hear it.
So he kills off the protagonist halfway through the movie because it's following this one girl for the first 40 minutes of its running time before she gets killed, and then the protagonist switches to the person you originally thought was the villain. And there's a very precise moment when that happens. So halfway through the film, he kills her, and then he's cleaning up his mess, right? So he stabs her in the shower, famous shower scene.
Right.
And then about 5 or 10 minutes of screen time is sort of devoted to him cleaning, covering his tracks, so to speak, right? And the reason why that decision was made is because you have to gain sympathy for what he's doing, and you start to feel, you start to relate to him a little bit through these sort of mundane tasks that he's doing, and he ends up putting her in the trunk of a car and sinking the car in a swamp. And he's watching this car go down, and it's sinking, and then it stops, and you still see the tail end of the car sinking out. That precise moment is when the protagonist switches, because every member of the audience wants the car to sink.
Holy shit.
He's not a monster anymore.
What?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Holy. So when the audience is having a realization, the character in the movie is having a realization.
Yes.
And changing at the same time.
Exactly.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's next level shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
give it a watch for sure.
Yeah, give it a watch. Go ahead. And that's a Hitchcock.
Psycho
is a Hitchcock. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Don't watch the remake with Vince Vaughn. The original one's in black and white.
Okay. Yeah, will do. It's on my list. Yeah, as you know, I'm an avid collector. I
love your DVD collection. It's amazing.
My wife made me throw out a whole bunch the other night. We had
No, really?
Yeah. No, we're trying to we do this every once in a while where we'll take things to the thrift store or whatnot. Yeah. She'll go through her closet and old clothing, and then and it's called Yes No. We play yes no, yes or no. If it's no, you throw it in a bag.
Yeah.
And it turns out that I had 15, 20 items in my collection where I was like, I saw that and I'm never watching it again. So why am I holding on to it? And it felt good. It was therapeutic.
I like doing that too, man. Yeah. I like living light.
Yeah.
And it oh man, just my move to Calgary is a good example of that. I was able to fit everything I own in my car and do it in one trip in a sedan. I threw a lot of shit out, and it was liberating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for you.
It is.
It really is. 'Cause I had a handful of movies that were one of them that it comes to mind was Taxi Driver with
that's one of my favorites
with Robert De Niro, and I got it knowing what a classic it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was the time of what I was going through in my life at the time I saw it, but I just found it so depressing.
Well, what's really interesting is Taxi Driver sort of does the opposite of what Psycho did, in that he is the protagonist at the beginning, but then he switches
to the villain.
And so you're with him,
yeah,
and then he turns on you,
mm-hmm.
and you're not really sure how to feel about it, right?
It's strange, right? When he shaves his head and he puts on the green army coat and stuff, and you're like, it's almost like losing a friend. You're like,
totally, yeah.
Bobby De Niro, yeah. So, yeah, that's your boy Scorsese, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Still just killing it. I didn't like Silence. That was a movie he did a couple years ago about Jesuit priests in Japan. But Wolf of Wall Street before that was dynamite.
Oh my God,
that was the fastest 3 hours of my life.
That movie?
It's 3 hours, and it feels like you're watching. It's like you're sitting down for 15 minutes because it's just so entertaining and just moves so well.
It's like he's, it's hard to find words. I'm trying to find the words, but they don't make movies like that anymore is what I'm trying to say. That was made, it felt like Scarface did when I first saw Scarface with Al Pacino, 82 or whatever. 3 hours, just crazy action, just the long camera shots, just the way it's directed and stuff. Nowadays, everything's just so chop, 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 different scene, different angle, da 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 da. But that just felt like, we were seeing acting, and we were seeing directing and outrageous emotion and stuff, and the story, and fucking DiCaprio is a legend. When he's on the boat, throwing cash at the FBI guys,
fun coupons,
just he's on his yacht throwing and just screaming at losing his shit. I mean, that guy can act his ass off. So that what a classic. It's for the late 2000s. It didn't feel like a late 2000s movie.
No, for sure.
I don't think people are brave enough to make films like that nowadays.
I mean, cinema is in a pretty bad state right now. It's just they don't reward originality anymore. So unfortunately, it's all if it's not a sequel or a remake, it's a direct rehash of ideas.
So
and
true.
I don't think there's a finite number of ideas that have already been mined, and that's the reason that it's drying up. I just see it as more of a lack of courage, where just studios won't back anything anymore that's not a proven formula for success.
Yeah. Everything's like Marvel now. Everything's so much CGI, green screen, and like you said, they're rehashing ideas that exist already. These are comic books that have existed for years and years and years, and they're just using those ideas and making big movies out of them. Where are the original scripts and the screenplays? Where are those?
They're still there, but you have to look for them.
Yeah.
You really have to look for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're there. Of course they're there, but they're not getting the attention that they deserve, and they're not
Absolutely.
they're not in the spotlight. They're not,
and
mainstream.
For sure. And the big thing, especially with a big studio like Marvel, is that they're making so much money from their audience, but I feel like they're caring less and less because, for example, at the end of Infinity War, everyone dies or whatever, right? Half the people die. And then we get trailers and news about Black Panther 2 and Spider-Man Far From Home, where like the same actors are in the same movies that have already died. It's just like, you don't care enough about me to even suspend any kind of disbelief that all of these characters aren't coming back. Like, I already know the plot of the next movie. You know what I mean? Like, you need to know that characters are in actual danger, or else the movie has no stakes.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. They're not even respecting your intelligence at the end of like, by giving you these spoilers.
Exactly.
Like you just said, for these people that just died, and you're like...
And I think the strength of filmmakers like the Coen brothers or Quentin Tarantino was that you know that any character could die at any time. So you're paying attention.
Oh,
right?
man. Yeah, so unpredictable. Yeah, that, goddamn, what was that? No Country for Old Men? That was a good movie.
That was a great year for films, dude. That year had No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, Michael Clayton, Into the Wild.
Right?
Atonement. Oh, such a good year.
Yeah, that.
How the fuck do I remember all that?
Yeah, no, there was an Oscar party at Blake Enemark's that year. That we
were you there?
We both attended. Yes. Yeah.
I think I got really mad.
Yeah, because you.
I wanted There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. I remember that. You and maybe Simon having a big debate about it, or that was. I don't know why I remember that, but that was a great year. My God.
This year's been really bad. I'll still watch the Oscars, but I've only seen really 2 good movies out of the 10 that are nominated, being A Star Is Born and Roma. Everything else is I just kind of shrugged, really. Like I saw Green Book, I saw The Favorite, saw Black Panther and Black Klansman, and just I don't know what it is. Just nothing really resonated that much with me. But
Yeah, it doesn't mean it can't change. It doesn't mean, there's trends, right?
Yeah, but I feel like it's kind of collapsing under the weight of its own hypocrisy in some ways. And I think that's illustrated by the fact that they were not able to find a host this year because of the Kevin Hart thing.
I wanted to bring that up, yeah. So there's no, like, how is this going to happen?
Okay, so
how is this going to work?
Well, so basically, I mean... everyone who would be a potential good host, like everyone who's a name, is going to have some, shady thing about their past that can be dug up. So
I know.
In the case of Kevin Hart's, like, 10-year-old tweets about, being insensitive to the gay community that, I saw them. I thought they were pretty innocuous, but that's just me. Regardless, though, like, if that's the reason that you're not allowed to host. Like, I mean, no one's going to step up because no one can host because what's to stop trolls from just like digging through the next person account, finding something, showing the Academy, and then giving them another ultimatum, right?
Yeah. Like, you'd have to resurrect Jesus himself
to
host the Oscars because everyone's got a past and everyone's made mistakes.
For sure.
Some of them more severe than others, and that's okay. And maybe those people we can dismiss, but we got to be real here. Like,
there's just no room for nuance. You know what I mean? Like, Aziz Ansari should not have suffered the same fate as like Harvey Weinstein, but it all just got roped in, and it's just like so strange. And it doesn't surprise me that there are people in the world with really nothing to do except for try and, be shit disturbers with whatever they can.
Yeah.
What's kind of scary, though, is how all these big companies like NBC, ABC, the Academy, Netflix, they're all balking to them. And it's not like they're the majority of people. They're just a very vocal minority that just seem to have all this power now. And it's just like, why are we abiding trolls? Like, why are we abiding internet trolls?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you. It's so strange. I think part of my theory about it is that people realize that they can get attention with the internet, and people are, the people that are doing these terrible negative things are probably leading pretty sad lives and looking for a way to get noticed. And it's, you don't really have to go out in public. You don't have to look someone in the face. You can sit behind your keyboard, do research, and then watch your whole plan unfold and fuck it up. And it's it's toxic. It's poisonous, but it's killing us. Yeah.
Literally, actually, I think suicide is now the leading cause of death for men in our age group in Canada.
Yeah, it's higher for men. I know that for sure. And you know, you're getting like children that are on antidepressants now as young as 11 and 12, which I mean, that's bananas. That's
I don't mean to laugh, but like
an 11-year-old should be, you know, watching Saturday morning cartoons, eating cereal, and not have a care in the world. But now that they've got Snapchat and Instagram, they're getting, you know, these unrealistic images that they have to live up to, and it's just this whole thing that's not real, this fabricated online thing that they see, and it's like, I can't be that, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So,
and if you're getting bullied, like it never stops, right? Like, and
you can't run from it.
Can't run from it. Like even in our generation, right? I was never really bullied, but like if I was, then like going home, it would kind of like, that would be it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could be with my family and kind of just tune it out and face it the next day
and feel safe there.
But now there's no escape.
That now they're hitting you up on your DMs.
Yeah, and
you're at home and there's no escape, like unless you throw your phone away. But no, who's going to do that? So it's weird, right? I don't know, man. Like it's all this is so new for us too. So it's really hard to deal with, and it's all happening so quickly too is a big part of it.
Very, very quickly. But you know, like that's Facebook's motto, I think, was move fast and break things.
Oh my God. And
Good
have
job.
they done that? Have they ever done that? Jeez. So let's try and end on a high note, because I know you got to get out of here pretty soon. We're going to be, you know, wrapping up the EP soon and have some music for people to listen to. Are you doing any gigs in Calgary or anything that people can come and see if
Yeah, so I am gigging in Calgary right now. But my main prerogative at the moment is kind of just extra cash. So when I'm gigging in Calgary, I'm mainly doing covers.
Okay.
And sort of peppering it with originals. But
cool.
My long game is to kind of, you know, if people respond to the music that we're making right now, which I'm hoping they will, then I will be able to gradually replace the covers with more and more original music to the point where I'm fully an original artist.
Yeah, and put together a full set of all originals. So that's cool. That's something that you're doing. You're making an effort then to get out there and practice and get in front of people then. So that's great. Yeah.
And it's been weird actually. Like, I don't know why I didn't really do that more here, but I've literally just approached managers at bars and asked for their business card, sent them demos, and then just got hired. Like, it's surprisingly simple.
That's great.
But like, I don't know. When I was living in Vancouver, I had this like mental block of, I don't know, maybe it's fear of rejection or something, but like, just never did that. It just occurred to me when I moved that I should just
And now you're realizing like, hey, all I had to do is ask. All I got to do is put myself out there, and
Isn't
it's kind of
weird?
working.
Isn't it weird that we create these mental traps for ourselves that are
God.
just so unnecessary, and it's just like, But yeah, anyways, I'll update my social media pages for where you can find me performing in Calgary. But yeah, no, I appreciate the shout out. I think we should probably be done everything for the 6 songs before summer.
Yeah.
Sometime in the spring.
And these are all originals too, you know, so
all originals,
hopefully have them on, you know, streaming platforms for people to
Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and SoundCloud to start. And
Tenzin Sperl, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me on. It was fun.
This was fun. All right,
man.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.